Doug Lesmerises, Bill Landis for cleveland.com. Bill Landis, how do you think Ohio State played on Tuesday night?
Just okay. Better, I think, overall than the Penn State game, but kind of just okay. Not their best.
How do you think Chris Holtmann felt the Buckeyes played?
He probably wouldn't be as generous as I was. He seemed like borderline disappointed after a 71-56 win over Indiana. Yeah.
15-point win over Indiana. I think one of the best things about this Ohio State basketball team that is now 19-5 overall, 10-1 the Big Ten, is how good they are when they're bad. Why are they so effective even when they're not close to perfect this year?
I don't know. It's more than one thing. Like, they have reliable scorers, I think. I think at the moment you certainly feel good about giving the ball to KEITA BATES-DIOP, even though he shot 5 of 13 and wasn't his best. He still had 13, 5 assists and 4 blocks. But beyond that, you feel good about giving the ball to JEA'SEAN. You feel good about giving the ball to KALEB WESSON, who's made 11 field goals in a row with 7 of 7 tonight. CJ Jackson is shooting the 3 really well. So you have, more than one guy to, help you out of, the little slumps you fall into every now and then within a game. Cam Williams, I thought, had a really big shot that was, it wasn't a run stopper, but it was close to it because Indiana had gotten a couple baskets in a row, and I think it was close to cutting the lead down to double digits, and Cam just hit not a super crazy shot that you're going to think about forever, but just a solid shot to end a short run. And I think they just do little things like that, and they don't get rattled when teams go on runs. It's happened all the time. It happened last week when they were on the road, or 2 weeks ago when they were on the road, and they're very composed.
They lost to Penn State in their last game, but it took a banked-in three-pointer at the buzzer in a game when a lot went wrong for them, and they fought back and almost won that game. I think two things stand out to me. Again, everything we talk about this season, you automatically compare to the past couple seasons that didn't go as well. One is the varied offense that you sort of talked about, that KEITA is their lead guy, but they have some other shooters. JEA'SEAN is a cutter. He described himself as a cutter. He can get to the rim. KALEB WESSON is enough of a post threat. One guy going cold doesn't kill him. And the other thing is very few knucklehead plays, because that is what seemed like killed this team the past couple years, when you just come down and you throw the ball out of bounds. They had an inbounds that went out of bounds right before halftime today, and it was wow, that was weird. That almost never happens. But they give away, even when they're not playing well, they don't give away possessions like they used to.
No, and I think that starts with Andrew Dockich and CJ Jackson really protecting the ball. Andrew Dockich's turnover percentage was almost at 40% in the non-conference play, and that's inflated a little bit because he wasn't playing all that much. But then he got in the Big Ten play, and for a stretch he was leading the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. It was ridiculous. So you have two guys who are running the show who are really protecting the ball really well. But then, it's across the board. They got a little wonky with it against Indiana. They had 14 turnovers, but even still, 14 turnovers is not an insignificant number, and they won by 15 and lived to tell about it like it didn't matter.
Purdue's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
February 7th at Purdue, because they're going to have to be great against Purdue. But over the course of a Big Ten season, the way you compile a 10-1 record, especially in this league with a lot of mediocre teams this year, is that your basement is not very low. That's how you win game after game. Will they rise to Purdue's level? That's going to be tough. But their basement is really good right now.
Yeah, I had questions really up until probably last week, the Penn State game, about how much of this was real. Frankly, how much of this was just lightning in a bottle. It's a fun story, but it's going to end because they're just limited. I'm beyond that. They're legitimately good. It doesn't mean they're going to beat Purdue, but to play just okay and win by 15 against a team that's 5-5 in the Big Ten means you are legitimately good, and whatever you want to envision their prospects for postseason play being, I think that's okay. I think they've showed you they're capable of doing stuff like that. Before
Purdue, they have Illinois at home on Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday. Chris Holtmann's worried about that. I think Illinois has won 2 straight. They just whooped Rutgers. So, again, if you play bad, you can lose games like that. But their bad's pretty good right now. He's Bill Landis. I'm Doug Lesmerises. Ohio State 10-1 in Big Ten play after a 71-56 win over Indiana. See you later on cleveland.com.